Good morning, good evening, good night, whenever you are listening. Welcome to The Flip Side, a Get Your Teach On podcast where we break down, share, and challenge flip perspectives and insights on different hot topics in education. I'm joined in the studio by Hope and Wade, as usual. And today we have one of my favorite people on the podcast. Courtney Brink is here. You may know her from social media or Get Your Teach On. And we are so excited to dive in for part 2 of our social media helping or harming, kind of from a new teacher's perspective. And hear her incredible thoughts on that. So we're so excited she'll join us just in here in just a minute on The Flip Side.
All right, you guys, I'm so excited about today's episode. But recently, Maverick has gotten into Sesame Street.
We love this.
So we love Sesame Street.
Classic.
So much so that even they're big on instruments. And so I guess that was enough for Wade to go buy a full drum set
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
for the house.
Just
And
to be like
now,
Elmo.
Maverick's room is like Kevin Jonas's book. There's a rock
I love
because there's a full drum set.
He's really
Wade's
good.
full guitar
too.
because Wade has to play the guitar. Maverick has to play the drums, you guys.
Oh, this is like
Stop,
a Partridge
stop.
Family
This is so good.
situation.
This is what I've been waiting for my whole life.
What is your role in the
This is
family
what I've been waiting
band?
for my whole life. I get to be the singer.
Oh, my word.
That's
You just
what
don't even understand how
Maverick assigned
I've been in
task.
car rides.
Maverick assigned task.
I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Well, do
So
you guys need a backup dancer or something? A maraca? Something?
Maraca is great.
You're already doing the YouTube.
I mean,
so you got
that's
enough on your
ridiculous.
plate.
But I love that he loves Sesame Street. I mean, when was it? I just actually
You were
went
just
to
at. That's
a
why.
few
This is why I want
months
to talk
now.
about this. This
What?
is why I want
Sesame
to talk about
Street?
this.
You
Because
know my passion for Sesame Street.
I know. Well, you were just there at the event.
Yeah, a few at the end of May, actually. I was at the Sesame Street Workshop Gala, which, if you don't know, Sesame Workshop is kind
Gala.
of
A gala.
yeah, or the gala. I mean, we always go back and
Gala.
forth. Gala or
Gala.
gala, you never know.
You got to meet Elmo.
Got to meet actual Elmo, which was incredible. Sesame Workshop is kind of the overall nonprofit organization that does all the incredible curriculum and projects
Wait,
for
when
kids
are
and
they?
families.
When can we get them?
They're
text?
I know, we really do.
teach
They
on.
do. They're incredible. And I met some incredible people there. It was in New York City. I went with some friends, and actually in line for this has nothing to do with anything we were about to talk about, but Elmo was cool. But I met Martha Stewart, who I know Hope is a fan of. And we were in line for the bathroom. Though it was at this venue in New York City, like literally right in Grand Central on 42nd Street. And there were 2 bathrooms that were apparently very nice, but they were backstage. Well, when the Sesame Street characters are there, you can't just go to the bathroom backstage because, you
Yeah.
know, Big Bird is chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was like single bathrooms in the front that were like available during like the interim time. So there was just one long line. And me and Martha, I told her, I said, Martha, you look great. And she said, thank you so much. And then we just got into this whole conversation about her shirt and the sparkles and all the things. And I was just hyping her up as best I could because she's like over 80.
Listen,
I
Chris,
mean, she's been through a lot.
I text Chris. I said,
She's
how
been
was the
through a
event?
lot.
He said, I met Martha. I was like, Stewart? And he's like, yes. I was like,
so great.
what? I was
He's a
like,
gangster, man.
tell me how she
Golly.
looked in person.
She looked, when I say she looked incredible,
in case you missed
I'm
it,
not
she
even
was
kidding.
on Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover.
No, shut up.
Swear. And I was like,
I'm about to Google that on the next
ma'am.
break.
Because what is she, 84?
She up there.
Yeah.
My mouth dropped.
I mean,
and so
she looked incredible. I think she left early because I also saw her walk past like midway, and then I didn't see her come
Probably
back.
going to
but
hang out with Snoop.
early. Oh
Snoop
my
Dogg,
word!
probably right
maybe,
there.
You never know. Early bedtime, maybe I don't know. But Miss Rachel was there.
What?
I didn't know because she wasn't in her outfit, but I saw a picture later. and they
Martha
said it
is
was Miss
superior.
Rachel, but
Martha is superior.
Did you
and
get-
Martha.
Oprah was there.
No,
But
Martha
we're so
dropped
focused
it.
on- We're focused on.
Well, I Oprah too
Martha.
dropped the skincare routine because they.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
both-
Did you get
Oprah
any
and-
phone numbers,
and
or
Chuck-
did you just say
no.
hello? You didn't do a wait.
It was not.
Oh.
That was
You
not.
didn't
a
make
wait.
friends.
No.
Didn't make any friends.
Martha barely
Wait.
knew where she was.
I think you got a gnat on your.
I do. I see it. I've
Okay.
seen it.
It's a
Oh, there,
flying
look,
centipede.
Look,
Centipede.
There, guys.
If
Guys.
you're in studio, we are
Sports Illustrated just popped up.
She literally looks like that. That is not airbrush at all.
What
Her hair was
the
like
heck?
that. She was with Diane Sawyer, who, if you know Diane Sawyer,
Yeah, Diane
she
Sawyer's
doesn't look.
Listen,
like that.
this is how we operate in this family. Okay. Last time Wade texted me that he was at Epcot to see 98 Degrees perform. He
make
said,
friends,
You'll
bro.
never believe that Joey Fatone is sitting right in front of me. And I'm like, don't come home until you tell him. Until NSYNC is performing at National Conference, don't come home.
Well, he came home, and NSYNC has yet to be there, so we're waiting.
Hey,
we're
you
waiting
know
for
what?
that one.
You know what? 2087. Okay,
But
2087.
Oprah, Gem class, I didn't meet her, but
That's
just like
amazing.
from first, she had a back entrance. Shonda Rhimes got awarded as this thing. She talked all about like windows and doors and how Sesame Street allows everyone to see themselves. I may or may not have cried. Elmo sang a song. It was a beautiful night.
love
So
it.
all that to say, we love Sesame Street. I love that.
Sesame Street. But anyways, I had to get the market.
Sunny day.
Yeah, exactly. They sang that, and I was very emotional.
They sang it for real.
Yeah, they sang that.
Not an empath. They cries
They
at
sang.
Sesame.
They sang. All the classics. Like,
So you knew you were going to see Sesame Street, meet Elmo, and you didn't ask Maverick to go with you.
I was the
That's
plus
all I
one.
get.
I didn't get a plus one, so that's
He doesn't
not-
count. He's
It's not like that. I wish it was like that, but it's not like that.
He's 4.
But anyway, yeah, it was a good time for sure.
All right, let's dive into today. I'm excited.
Go ahead, Martha.
Let's go.
I'm excited about today's conversation, so let's do it.
Sunny day, keeping that Courtney. Courtney Brink is in the house.
She's a sunny day.
She is a sunny day. It is raining outside.
Wade didn't get
but
the green
Courtney
memo.
walks in and the sun is shining. Welcome to the Flip Side Couch.
So excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. We can't wait. For those of you who do not know Courtney, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do, all about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Courtney Brink. I am
The Courtney Brink.
okay, not too much. I am Kinder and Kindness on Instagram, and I just started that a couple years ago, and it has just changed my life, I think, for the better. And I've been able to share a different side of me, so I've been very grateful to do that. 25, if that means 25 in July. Next month, I'll be 25. So I'm so excited. I feel like a chapter will unlock when I'm 25. I don't know.
It will
But
be magical.
I have heard that. Something about 25 is going to be different. But that's me. I'm just a happy little girl. And I like to share fun things on Instagram and just be authentic.
We
Important.
love it. Current kindergarten teacher. How long have you been teaching?
Ooh, I just got out of school, so I will be entering my 4th year. So I have
Entering your
3 years
fourth.
under
3
the
years
belt.
down.
Let's go. You probably have seen Courtney on the Gear Teach On Collective, rocking all the designs, all the things all summer long. So we love having you there. But today's going to be kind of a different conversation. We had part 1 of this earlier in the summer, all about social media and what that looks like for teachers. And is it helping? Is it harming? There are so many great benefits. We had that episode with Josie Bensko. If you missed that episode, make sure you go back and check it out after this to tap into part 1. But this is going to be part 2. And I kind of want to continue that conversation a little bit with you, Courtney, but more from a new teacher's perspective. So when you graduated college,
Yes.
you were entering the classroom and the profession in the world of TikTok, Instagram, all the things, and kind of how that's impacted you, positives, negatives. Is it helping? Is it harming? And kind of what you hope to do with your platform and what you see currently just in social media in general in the teacher world as we dive in. So first, talk about going back to when you graduated college, even while in college. I'm sure we weren't on Instagram, did not exist when we started teaching. So, but
MySpace.
MySpace.
Can't relate.
You guys all would have been in my top 8 on MySpace. Courtney has
I'm
no
privileged.
idea
I
what we're
don't know what
talking about,
MySpace
but it's
is.
totally
No.
fine.
Courtney.
Totally fine.
Those
It
were
was
the
like
days.
it was actually amazing. You could choose like a song. Okay.
On website.
Yeah, it
Let's
was
bring it
really
back.
cool.
Bring
But
back
then you rank
MySpace.
your friends, which is kind of not awesome if you think about it now. Like
You can have like your top 8.
yeah,
Sometimes
it was
top 16.
It was top 8. Sometimes I'll go to top 16. And like
It
if you were
really
not
caused
in
a
Did it
lot of
cause
drama.
problems?
it was
I was
drama.
about to say.
It was drama. Yeah. It was the
I'm
OG.
sure.
Not for me, because my definition of friends, people know.
Wade had a total of 8. He just
I only had 4.
I had about like
you still had to rank them.
They didn't care. They knew who they were.
I had about 32.
They knew where they
So-
stood.
But anyway,
you.
talk about kind of graduating college in the world of social media and kind of how that shaped you into the educator that you are.
Yeah, so I graduated in May of 2021, and I started Kinder and Kindness in April of 2021.
Ooh.
So it was right before I graduated. I knew that I wanted this separate space to share all things teacher. Didn't want to do it on my personal Instagram, so I was like, let me just create another Instagram. And I didn't know much about Teachergram. I don't know
Got it.
if it was big a couple of years ago. Maybe I just wasn't on that side. I didn't unlock that part of Instagram
The algorithm didn't find you.
No, it didn't. It's like when you have a baby or something, you go on Target, you unlock that part of Target.
That is actually true, though.
Yeah.
I didn't unlock this part of Instagram until I created Kinder and Kindness. So I knew a couple of content creators prior to, but I think more so through YouTube. I was a big teacher YouTube watcher.
Okay.
Before the Instagram thing. So I created it and I was like, I want to share all the things. I want to share what I'm buying. I want to share the hauls. I saw that start to come into play on TikTok more so than Instagram. I was like, let me just do it. And so I started the Instagram. I remember hitting like 100 followers and I was like, oh my God, like this is like picking up. Like this is so fun. And so I just continued to share and you know, the followers came, never something I cared about, even to this day. I could care less, but I just knew that I wanted an authentic space to create content more so to share what I'm doing. I was going to be a new teacher. I didn't see a lot of newer teachers on Instagram. So I was like, let me just be real and share the good, share the bad. What am I buying? How am I decorating? Like that was so important to me. I had my costume theme picked out since like I was
forever, right?
a sophomore. And
I feel that in my
you know,
soul.
I'm holding on to this theme. I'm like, I'm doing this, whether it's in or out when I become a teacher. But I had that picked out and I was like, let me just share everything. I didn't have a niche that I wanted to go into. I was like, I'm just going to do it all. And I have stayed in that lane kind of even to this day. I don't particularly put myself in a box when it comes to what I'm sharing. And I think people relate a lot to that. When it comes to my Instagram specifically, they know they can come there for a couple of different things. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with Kinder and Kindness. And I feel like I've stayed true to that even 3 years after creating it, which is crazy.
Yeah. I feel like, again, now that I've gotten the pleasure to know you and interact with you, I feel like it really is your authentic space. Like everything that I see about you on social media is exactly what I see about you and all the interactions that we've had. I just want to start with it. And I asked Josie this too, but, and I feel like this answer could be very different for everyone. So I'm not like searching for an answer because I very much think it's how the algorithm curates things for individuals and for people. But when you
unlocking, are you talking about unlocking?
Yeah, unlocking.
What have you unlocked?
But when you think about Teachergram, right, specifically, do you, as you're scrolling Teachergram,
And also TikTok, because
TikTok
this
too.
is a new thing too. TikTok.
Okay.
too.
now, I'll just be honest with you. I have curated my TikTok so it is anything but teaching, okay?
To be honest.
Because I'm
It's
just
a
there
lot.
for laughs, giggles, kicks, joy, all the things. Okay?
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
others.
intentionally,
Yes,
I stayed off TikTok
it
for a
does.
very long time. So when I went there, I knew that I wanted no tie to education. And that's honestly why I don't post there because I don't even want it to be
On your algorithm. Understand.
because I go there for a very different purpose. I don't like comedy, but TikTok just, I will be.
She laughs. She dies.
I will
laughing.
so funny.
Cry. I will cry.
I love TikTok.
But when you think about Teachergram, what pops in your mind first? Is it where are all the happy teachers, or where did all the happy teachers go, or is it a space that promotes education in a positive light?
That's such a good question. I think I got on the conversation with someone about this last year. I felt like last year specifically, my algorithm on TikTok last year was so negative, like before the school year started. And then I would go to Instagram and it wouldn't be, maybe because I don't see a lot of negativity on Instagram, maybe because I just choose not to follow, those people.
Yeah.
But TikTok specifically, because you can't really control
What you're
pops up
shown.
on
Right.
TikTok more than you can control it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But TikTok for me last summer was so negative. And I promise I hit not interested so many times. I'm like, it's so real. And all the feelings, all the emotions are
Was it
so
mainly
valid.
teachers talking
But it was
about
mainly
how
teachers
bad-
talking about how bad teaching was.
Yeah.
And that last summer and before going into teaching, I was like, do I want to do this? Like, I was so scared because I had just always heard the rainbows and sunshines, and I was so excited to go into teaching. I was like, I have a couple of months. I graduated in May. My district was going to year-round school, so I was going to start teaching in July. So I had a very short window of time. I was like, I'm about to be doing this on my own in just a bit. And so I saw that thing on TikTok, and I was like, interesting. Like, is this really what teaching is going to be like?
Yeah.
Is this really what teaching is like? Do people really hate this profession? Have I been like blindsided, by all the good for these past 4 years? And I had to eventually just create my own perspective. Like, you are going to go in and you have to create your own experience in this profession. And that's for everybody. Like, you can't listen to what's on Instagram, what's on TikTok. Take it in, take it with sometimes a grain of salt because your experience might not be the person next to you.
Yeah.
And in my past 3 years, I've noticed that too. Even at my school, I'm having the time of my life. And some teachers might not be experiencing that, but you can't compare what you see on social media to what you might actually experience. And I've had to learn that personally.
Yeah.
And so when people ask me about it, new teachers coming in, I share that with them. I'm like, you just take in what you're hearing, but also be mindful of what you can bring to this space is going to be different. And you might have a completely different experience than the person next to you.
I love.
Go ahead, Wade.
I mean, I just want to say, like, I love this perspective. I mean, you're very wise, and I'm not I'm an old person, but
Okay, Grandpa.
but it's,
I mean, it's the cardigan. It's not good. Jesus.
No,
I mean-
audience doing it.
like you are. I mean, you've been teaching for 4 years, but the perspective that you have, like, I'm learning from you. I mean, I'll be 40 this year, obviously, and so I have students who are older than you, younger than you, whatnot. But for you to have that perspective, and the first thing that hit me like this just now was you saying your first year of teaching was what, 2021? Mm-hmm. After COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of teachers that are teaching who have been in the game for a minute, and we talk about this often because we were teachers before COVID, teachers during COVID and after COVID. We think, oh, teaching is the way it used to. It's not the way it used to. No, this is normal now. Yeah. And I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to project all of that right here. But I think it is still important because, like, this is all you've ever known.
Yeah.
And looking at those negative comments and whatever it may be on TikTok or Instagram, how do you feel? Where do you think that's coming from? Do you think it's new teachers? Do you think it's veteran teachers? If you even know, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah. I could honestly say I haven't been exposed on Instagram. TikTok, I'm still navigating. It's just a whole,
To me, it is a lot like Twitter and Twitter and TikTok both start with T, and so does toxic. And so
I know.
A lot of
1,000%.
That on a t-shirt.
1,000%. That was actually
That is good.
No.
Twitter,
sometimes
TikTok,
on the
and
spot.
T.
I think it's actually called X now, though.
It is.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so-
Not officially,
I'll go with the alliteration on the other.
formerly known as.
Yeah.
we all know it.
But I feel like Instagram, for me personally, my experience with it has been a much more positive space than TikTok. And I don't get many negative comments on Instagram. But when I do see them, it is normally from veteran teachers. And I don't know
Interesting.
if it's just they see this young teacher that's so excited. They're like, oh, just wait until.
Tell me, I want the tea. Like,
And-
give me like an example of a time where, like, you don't have to say their name, obviously, but like,
Don't even remember.
Man, put them on blast.
can't put their handle on the screen. No,
Yeah,
Right.
we want that double return, right?
Yeah.
because I'm sure also, and we've all been there, that there's like repeat offenders that it's like, okay, why do you even follow me kind of deal.
And
But, like,
the
what
funny
are some of the
thing
things that they're
is they
saying?
don't follow me.
Oh,
Like,
even
I'll
better,
click their
yeah.
profile, I'm like, it says follow. It doesn't say
Yeah.
follow back. I'm like, how did you even? But what I would normally see, and it's typically when I love to do my door. Like, that is my.
Oh yes, your door. I remember this actually.
Yeah, I love to do my door. So this year I took it up a notch. Like, I typically just do the cute little classroom doors, but I wanted to like make my doors into like.
Which is classic elementary school. Decorate your door. Okay,
Absolutely.
this is not like
It's an
I
every
decorated my door.
exactly.
Right.
If
Like,
Grandpa
and
could
I
do
love
it, we could all
decorating
do
my
it.
can all
door.
do
I
it,
get
right?
that. Like, I get that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
so
Thing
fun.
you do. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
go ahead.
No, you're fine. But I decorate it monthly for each holiday. I'm like, okay, this is something on my little list. I'm like, gotta change the door before the next month comes in.
Because it brings you joy.
It brings me joy. And
No
it
one
brings
is
the kids
saying
joy.
you're going to get fired if you don't
Absolutely.
decorate your door. Right?
So this year, I remember it was right around the time of Rock Your School. We were doing pumpkins and I did this whole pumpkin room transformation. And so I was like, I need to put a pumpkin on the door. So me and my co-teacher, she's new this year, she has brought all the energy to me. And I'm so excited that I have somebody
That's
to
great.
Yes.
work with now that
Fuel up.
gets me.
Yeah.
Like she gets me so well. So we were like, let's turn our doors into pumpkins. And so we stayed hours after school. I mean, gigantic pumpkin all around the door. Like, we did it up. And coming the next day, I had some comments from my school, but I posted it on Instagram, and veteran teachers were like, where did you have time to, like, when did you find time to do that? Like, I'm teaching my kids all day. What are you doing that you had time to?
Yeah, as
decorate
if
your
you're
door?
leaving the classroom
And I'm
of
like-
kindergartners to go
Right.
decorate the door.
Oh, I didn't teach all day. I did this pumpkin door.
Yeah,
today. Like, what do you
exactly.
think
Like,
I
are you
did
kidding?
today? But it's a lot of the stuff where I do fun things in my classroom. They're like, oh, I just don't have the energy. I have to go home and teach kids. And I'm like, take care of my kids.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, I get that. I'm not going home to take care of kids. I can probably stay at school a little bit longer, but
why are they
I'm
mad 'cause
also
you're in a
putting
different
that
season of
part. And I'm like, why are you upset at me? I did turn my door into a Christmas tree. The comments on the Christmas tree door were absolutely
Really?
Unhinged. I remember
unhinged.
this.
And I was just
I
looking
remember.
at them and I was like, whoa. And I never let them get to me, but it's just, I typically laugh.
Somebody right
because-
now is going to your profile and they're
Yeah.
going to the
No, go to the Christmas tree post.
the door.
And it was,
It's gonna be your most liked post of the day.
it's so actually it's gonna get likes, today. But it was going off of that. They're like, what do you do about the kids that don't celebrate this or don't celebrate that? I'm like, I've already taken the necessary steps to understand what kids in my class don't celebrate certain holidays.
Correct.
Like, you see this post, you don't see what I've done prior to posting.
That's
it.
right.
And it's a lot of those comments. And I'm just like, I've done my job as a teacher to ensure that I am being respectful to what everybody celebrates. And in my class, everybody celebrated it. So I have a Christmas door or a Christmas tree door, but it was just a lot of just negativity from veteran teachers talking about how much energy I have. I'm going to lose that in 10 years.
The fire marshal was
The
a big
fire marshal was
which
going
we
to
know-
come. And I was
that is
like,
never good.
I've heard that.
nobody
Okay, if he comes up and take it down, they will come down. Like,
coming, my fire marshal would never. My
Exactly.
principal would. I'm like, okay, they would never. My principal would. Like,
Right.
it doesn't have, anything
My
to
fire
do with
marshal
me.
probably never would either, and I did it anyway.
yes.
Right. Like nobody, it's just interesting to me how negative people can be when they see a teacher doing something that they just probably wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you wouldn't do it, that's fine. But don't go on somebody's poster, make a comment about something
Ignorant.
that it's just
Ignorance.
ignorant. And it's just funny to me that people are so comfortable doing it on social media.
Oh,
you would never
You know what I do?
say that to my face.
You don't have to do this, but you know what I do? If they're like that, what do? I give them my what?
Wade's a little extreme.
It's a
Sometimes I do respond.
No, I give my
typically
phone
will.
number.
He
I
will
say,
give
if
him
you got a problem, here's my phone number.
But they never call.
And they
Here you
never
go.
call ever.
They wouldn't though.
No.
There's a lot of confidence behind a phone,
Yeah, behind your keyboard.
Beside all of that, to me, and I know, and I've tried to accept, hurt people.
They do.
Yes, they do.
But they don't even see themselves as hurt.
They don't. They don't.
And again, we've talked so much on
That's what we're
several
talking
episodes
about.
self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just am I don't get, if you are somebody who comments something negative on social media, why are you in this profession?
Yeah.
Why?
Why are you in this profession? Because again, so much of what the flip side is about saying, how do we hold conversations and hold space to unify, not divide?
Right.
Meaning, you might not, even as a teacher, maybe you don't have an Instagram account where you share things on. Amazing.
Right.
Not everybody needs that by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe you would never decorate your door. Maybe you would never, put up decorations in your classroom or wear cute outfits or post about them. Perfect.
Right.
Great.
That
But there
is
are people
literally
who
a
do.
fine.
And at the end of the day, this is, I think, the part that I am seeing on repeat, even on these episodes and talking with teachers and talking with people, is that people are literally putting you in a corner and saying, oh, if you're a cute teacher who wears cute outfits and decorates your classroom cute, and for lack of a better way to say it, you must suck as a teacher.
As a teacher. 1,000%.
Where does that,
where did that connection come from?
That
Exactly.
literally makes me come unhinged and makes
Right.
me fume, because it makes me really frustrated that these teachers who are, because and I talked about it with Josie too, social media for me is a very big hot spot in the work that I do in education. Because again, our goal is to unify teachers. Our goal is to keep the best teachers in this profession. And I feel like so much of social media is to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And these very teachers who, I see it a lot on TikTok too when I'm looking for certain things, but they're complaining about all of these things about education. But the very things they're complaining about, they're running everyone away from the profession. So those things are never going to get better.
Correct.
And I'm like, what is their end game?
And they're happy in that.
And they're
like they
happy about it.
they want
They want to drive
they want the
teachers
attention
away.
of that.
Yeah. It's
They want to
so
rally the
What is
yes,
that
let's
goal?
talk about how much we dislike this
teaching.
profession.
Because here's
and that's
also-
what is that gonna do for kids?
Right.
Also, I think we have to put this out here, because if we don't say this specifically, then we're being toxic positivity, because we are not always, I think
not.
you do a very good job
Yes,
of
always.
showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. But here's the problem with some of the accounts on social media. All they do is the ugly.
Absolutely.
And they never, again, they're so, I call them the gripers. All they do is gripe, and no solution. Gripe.
Right.
I'm like, why are you still here?
Right.
Like,
And why do you feel the
hate it
need
so
to
much to leave?
share that? Like people will always say, and not even just about teaching, about life. They'll be like, wow, everything seems so great. No, I just don't feel the need to
Too hard on
post
the bed.
when it is a bad day or when something is happening. Like,
Correct.
why am I going to take time out of my own personal life to put this on? Because that's not really authentic. Because
Exactly.
no one would share that for any reason if you're really feeling
and what,
that
because
way.
I post the positive things?
Correct.
Now I'm a toxic
Right.
Yes.
person, or because of toxic positivity. I'm like, that is just a,
It's a
Yeah.
twisted.
I'm not even going to say it. That is an excuse that a lot of people use to make themselves feel better and to put someone else down so that they can
agree.
lift themselves up. Like,
Fired up with this shirt now. But that
Agreed.
made me
I
think
agree.
of, there is this one post on Get Your Teach On, we shared it. It's from Allie, Days in Kinder. She's a
Yeah.
kindergarten teacher, one of our presenters. It is the most adorable, first of all, we're talking about kindergarten.
Kindergarten,
Okay?
literally.
If you've ever taught kindergarten
Right.
or you
You do
know
the thing.
what it is like. You can tell Courtney more than anyone. It is a lineup song. It is
for
this
sure.
cute, when we're walking down the, like, it's not that, but it's like, it is.
No,
wait, that's actually the start of a great song.
It
Let's keep
is.
it. When we're walking down
it's
the
stuff
hall.
like that. It's like our hands are on our side. We're stand up. It's something like it's
Right.
adorable. It's cute. She looks great. She wears like cute dresses. Like
Yeah.
her classroom has all the bright colors in the back.
Right.
We reposted her video of that on Get Your Teach On's social media.
What did the people say?
My notifications unhinged. Unhinged. People that are not teachers on there, and these are the things I have to talk about.
Right.
I have not seen this.
I haven't either. This is news to
pull
me.
it up. It is probably
Okay, I
the
will
most
be going
commented
to this
video.
post.
I don't
It
wanna
is
see
number
it.
one. It is like probably number one video, and I get all the notifications.
I'm going to
for
read
it.
some of the.
Yeah, please do. I could name them all. One is about, and I adore Allie, and Allie, I love you. It is like the cutest video.
I don't
I'm a
listen to
preschool
none of this,
teacher,
and now I'm
but
like,
all the comments are, wow, children should not need songs to line up. My kids, no, from a teacher, from an actual teacher, my kids just know what to do when they line up. They don't need, wow, how much time is wasted. My favorite comment was
Oh,
my
wait, was
favorite
this
comment.
on Facebook that you got?
It was on a Facebook reel, yeah. It's on a Facebook reel. But my favorite comment is she has like it's like a banner of different colors in the back. It's red,
Yeah.
pink, orange, yellow. But
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
why do you have a rainbow in your classroom? That's the comment that they're focused on. And then some people are like, because she teaches kindergarten and it is colors.
Right.
Well, I don't think so. You never know this and this.
Oh my gosh.
People are unhinged in the
They
comments.
are.
Unhinged.
They are.
And it is the most commented video that we have. And it makes no sense.
Really?
It's literally a classroom management technique. Yes.
That's
Did you find it
amazing.
yet?
I'm almost there.
Okay, find it.
348
I
comments.
told you. On 348 comments.
What's
on
up
a
with the
lineup
rainbow?
song. Yep, there we go.
I don't know, John. Maybe because it's kindergarten.
Literally. Literally.
You tell John.
This don't get your teach on.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
a waste of time.
Not at all.
What's with all the singing and Mary Poppins themes?
Like, what
is wrong with
is wrong with you?
When did teachers have to become actresses? And so obviously some of these people are not teachers.
Not
Correct,
teachers.
correct.
Yeah, no, it's
And
just a
honestly,
viral video.
Go to bed.
If you've ever taught anything, probably below
Yeah.
third grade,
Below,
you're gonna
seriously.
need some chants. You're gonna need some
Absolutely.
songs. You're gonna need
But then
some.
you have
back.
teachers saying things like, because I know this is a teacher, hang on, kids, I just need to set my phone up real quick.
Exactly. Come
Get
for
out.
a incredible educator with
Absolutely.
incredible results, sharing something that now can impact
Help you.
thousands of students
Absolutely.
outside her room.
I just tell my fifth graders to line up and close their mouths. Tell me how that's working for you, Kathy.
It actually is good.
Pretty movie, Kath.
It is entertaining.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
It's crazy.
it is insane what people
are
will
so
say.
comfortable just
Correct.
commenting these things.
I want to ask you.
Wow.
So when you can put it down, don't look at it anymore. Though.
I know, I'm just-
I want to ask you. So when you came through, obviously college at a different time than we did. We already kind of joked about that. We had MySpace, Facebook, barely,
Right.
and then you had TikTok and Instagram and those type of things. Were you looking at social media for teaching ideas then? You said you really weren't. I don't think, but did it make an impact on you?
Or even during your first year, when you started yours, were you looking for different things like to tap in with people or things?
Yeah. I definitely looked for kindergarten teachers specifically because I knew, that's what I was teaching. I wanted more
And
ideas.
you said YouTube mostly too, right?
YouTube mostly. I can't remember the YouTuber's name, but I watched her videos a lot to get ideas, whether that was like lesson plans or I watch classroom setups a lot.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of like how to
Yeah,
have my
sure.
classroom set up, that type of thing. But I look to it more for inspiration. And I feel like that's what a lot of people, younger teachers, I guess so, do.
What do you mean by
now.
inspiration? Because
Like-
it can go.
It can go a couple different ways. Yes. Like lesson wise, classroom design wise, like what are some fun lessons that you're teaching? What are some callback, like call and responses that you're doing? I want to try those in my classroom. Getting all of these ideas, definitely overloading myself with ideas because I knew that what I was finding, everything wasn't going to work for my kids.
Sure.
I was like, I want all of these ideas just to try them out and see if they work for me. And so I made sure to really look at that, like that summer before I started teaching, even before heavily then, but before that, just keeping it in my file folder of notes in my brain to not look up too much. So I'm like, I know I'm going to have, I don't know what kind of kids I'm going to have, you know, but I did want to feel more comfortable going in. I basically student taught for like a year. I always tell people that because I was with my cooperating teacher from June to July, basically. So I had a really good, I feel like, and I was in kindergarten for student teaching. So I had a really good foundation before going into teaching. And I felt so good. I just jumped right in. I was super comfortable the entire year. I had a great class. And so I tell people all the time, my first year was rainbows and sunshines and unicorns and bubbles and all of that. That was my first year. I didn't have any of that.
And there is nothing
wrong with that.
Like,
no, it's not. And so I'm like, I know. And then there's people that I went to college with that did not have that kind of year. And so that's why I just try to just preach like your year is going to be your year. And I had a fantastic first year and my second year, not so much. Like it was a complete 180 from my first year. And I was not prepared for that.
Why?
The kids, the behaviors were not what I expected. I was like, oh, I'm going to, do the same things with some tweaks. Like I would say I've had great classroom management, like since before
New kids.
I started teaching, and it was just different. Like they didn't listen to anything I would say. Like
had groups like
it was just, I could not find anything that worked for that group. Like I could not. And a lot of it I had to realize like, this is just a parenting thing that I can't fix in 180 days.
Yep.
Like
we've all been
respect
there.
that their parents would have had to teach them in 5 years, and I can't fix that. And I have to teach. I have to do all these other things. And it was a complete
Well, second year South Carolina is very different too. That's when you actually can get that's when you have to turn your lesson plans and we've gone through the accreditation process to be boom.
Yeah, it was difficult that second year. Like I went home. My music teacher and she came in that year and we clicked immediately. But I went home that year maybe and did cry a lot. I shed so many tears my second year, like just because I was like, what am I not doing? Like,
And what did your social media look like for that year? I'm just curious because I don't think we're friends yet.
No, it was very different. I need to go back and because I can tell when I'm in like a good space on social media when I go back and look at my Instagram, and it would be crazy. I would post and I would get comments from like my friend followers, I call them, like the people that I consistently talk with through DM, and they're like, are you all right? Like because like I see something different, like the aura is different. And I never heard that before. And when people would start telling me that, I was like, go back and look, like I do look different. Like I lost my love of teaching my second year. Like I would go into work right on time. I would leave right at the bell. Like I didn't want to do anything extra. I feel like these kids don't deserve it. Like I'm doing all of this stuff. They're not appreciative. Like that year truly felt like I don't even know if teaching is for me anymore.
Oh man.
And then I was like, I'm going to go home in the summer. I got this year back up. Like it was a great year. And I'm like, I know I'm going to have years like my second year, but it was
you
hard
don't know
to
that until you experience.
that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Like going out my first year, I'm like, okay, like teaching, like I'm so prepared. Like I am so happy about all of this. Like everything worked out exactly how I wanted it to my first year. So when I was hit in the face with my second year, and it was like, haha, like we got you that. Like first year was good. Let's see how you handle this. It was just completely different. And I don't think I was prepared for that. Going off of such a great first year. That was everything I could have imagined and more. The kids I had, all of that. And so I think I've had to, preach to other people because I've experienced it. Like every year is just completely different. And in kindergarten especially, nobody knows these kids.
a lot.
Like nobody
makeup
knows
is huge in
who's
kindergarten
coming
because
up.
you have no idea.
No. And so first grade teachers, you know the kindergartners because you see them in the hall. Like all these other grades, you've seen these kids before, you've heard about these kids before, or you can see how they have been. We're getting, bingo, like who comes in, who is Sally? Like nobody knows. So when you put all these kids in a class, you don't know what you're getting in kindergarten. And I think people overlook that in kindergarten. Like we have kids that nobody knows anything about this child. Nobody knows their home life, their upbringing. What do they already know? Like you're having to, one, teach them stuff from scratch because it's kindergarten, and two, figure out who this child is. Like kindergarten is a different ballgame. And I think people downplay it a lot. And so I have to.
You mean you get to color all day?
Exactly.
That's what people said to my mom. Mom's a school teacher. They will say that all the time. If you went into my mom's classroom, pre-K 4-year-olds, you'd be like, "Are these third graders? Like, what are they doing?"
I'm saying.
But they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't even know."
And sometimes
you don't
it's
even
sad
know.
because I feel like I'm teaching first grade sometimes. I'm like, because of
the expectations.
The expectations are high, and I'm like, granted, they can do the things, but it's like. Sometimes I do kind of like I try to make kindergarten as I can by also obviously doing my job. But like we're going to do the crafts, we're going to play because that stuff is so important, and they have to have that. And I think people they get that misconstrued.
And I think also in education, it's almost presented just the way the schools are set up that copy and paste would be easy. Like, you got it. There's never you can't even copy and paste a morning to an afternoon block if you have two blocks of kids. Like it doesn't work like that at all. Like when I was departmentalized teaching 2 blocks, you can't even do the same thing with 2 blocks of kids, and it's the same year, same curriculum.
I think you're very, very lucky, and it's a great opportunity that you were able to experience that in your first 2 years.
Yeah. I'm very grateful
and you
for
survived it to be like, oh, okay, that's
But at the same time, you weren't going on social media. Everyone should quit teaching right now because I have a hard season. That's the narrative. That's like, even though that happened to you, you still maybe you didn't post as much. Maybe it was a different vibe, but it wasn't a. You know what? I'm leaving. I'm doing this. You should do this. It's almost like how many people can I get on board to join me?
Misery loves company. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was very mindful to still post, and I think Hope said this earlier, where I do share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
I was very mindful to like, on days I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go on like my story. And I like to go on my story and literally just talk. Like, that's just
you do.
what I do. Cause like,
or live.
We're friends,
you go live sometimes,
And I go live, I'm like, I just want to chit chat with you guys, So there will be days I'm like, I want to get on and share about this, but I don't want people to think about it a certain way.
And honestly,
dive deep into it. And there was something like, I've got to share this. Like
I think they respect it from you though, because they see so much good, right? Because I mean, honestly, most years you should be having more good moments than
Absolutely.
bad.
Right.
Now I've been with you. I've had one of those classes.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, I've had 2 classes. I've had 2 classes where it's like, do you guys even care if the sun rises in the morning, sets at night? You don't care about anything.
Absolutely.
Like you, and being who I am, I had to accept, like you said, I cannot change this in 180 days. I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to give my best, be my best, but I'm going to do an extra.
Yeah.
I know which 2
Because
classes
they
you're
don't-
talking about
he-
too,
he
because
can
I
make
was
them.
there.
And so those years I went home and it was time. I didn't, and it was okay. That is okay to have those years.
Right.
But the rest of it has been so much more good than bad. So when I see you have a bad day and post about it, I'm like, oh, shucks, poor Courtney. I hate that she had a bad day. Whereas a lot of people, I'm like, oh, a bad day again? Shocker.
they should not for sure.
Yeah, that is a great perspective. 'Cause
And so I'm like, when you have a bad day, my heart goes out to you and like, I want to encourage you because I know it's authentically a bad day because there's so much good in it.
Which is valid.
So it's almost like when people are always complaining and they never have a solution, they just want to be a complainer. People who are always having bad days with ever the good, they just want to have bad days. That's true. Whereas you're instead,
Hey, well, that's true.
and what they say is they're
Good one right there.
highlighting the realities of education. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You want to have a bad day. You've already set yourself up to have a bad day. Your social media account is now built on you having a bad day.
The people that you hang around with
So if you don't have a
always
bad
have bad days.
you don't have content.
And also,
you're true.
and I
You're
hate
telling
this
the
word, and I know we've had many conversations about this, but the word influencer, right,
Absolutely.
has become a thing because you do have when you are sharing things, you
Yeah.
have influence on certain things and certain areas.
Everybody has
One followers or
So your
100,000.
end goal now as an influencer with a platform, with a following, is to influence people to
Yeah.
leave the perfect. Is that the
that what you
influence
wanna do?
that you're trying to, like, there's a
'Cause I think
very
that they-
fine line of like, what is the end goal?
Yeah,
I think
that's
they
true.
literally want to stage a national education.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So they just
think
do
they
that.
have tried.
Right.
I think they have tried, which will not happen because there's so much good happening in education.
Yeah, there is.
I think that goes back
Oh
to
my
kind of where we
gosh.
started of the social media helping or harming. Well, you're going to be fed, and the algorithm is very good at
Right.
feeding you. If I'm watching Taylor Swift videos,
That's what you're going to
and for the next week, I'm
Yeah.
being fed Taylor Swift. Like, it is very
Yeah.
good at feeding you what you watch for the longest time. Like, I don't know any of the science
Absolutely.
behind it, but I know that there are way smarter people than me
Yeah.
figuring it out. And if that's what you're seeing, then that might be like, oh, who am I following? Like,
Yeah.
what impact is this having? Because you're going to see that on your way to school. You might say, yes, so same. And then you walk in and you start teaching kids in a good mindset. Like, no way.
No,
That's not
yeah.
reality.
It's not what
I think people have a lot to learn from you, and I do
Yes.
think this to sound like an old lady. You're very wise for your age. No, but I think that people have a lot to learn from you because I think what you said is so smart. You curate your feed. Now TikTok's a little bit different, so be cautious of that. But new teachers, listen up. Veteran teachers, listen. Everybody has something to learn from
know,
this.
I'm
you
here.
can
Yep.
choose what you want to see by who you follow and
Correct.
who you engage with.
And there is an
also,
unfollow button.
There is that. And you know, if somebody's not certain, I've unfollowed people all the time. But also, I think as an educational professional, you also have to caution yourself at who you're commenting on. Because why do all of the negative posts have the highest comments? Now, we can look at it from two sides.
True.
Some people are going to say, because that's the realities of education and we're just here for solidarity, right? But in my mind, I'm like, if you're following somebody who posts about their bad day every day and you're always telling them, so sorry you had a bad day, wisen up wake up a little bit and recognize that by engaging with their posts over and over, more and 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 more, and teachers are going to see that. And that is going to make them think what you thought. Oh my gosh, is every day a bad day in education?
Yeah.
No,
Not at all.
it's not.
Right.
And if you are having a bad day every day in education, listen up. It's time for you to move on.
Yeah.
It's time, because obviously the problem is no longer education. The problem is you and education, the relationship that you have. And there is nothing wrong with moving on. There is nothing wrong with moving on. But you should be having more good days than you are bad. But I think that social media, while there is so much good to it, and you see that side because you even say on Instagram, I don't ever see negativity. It's all great stuff. There is so much good in education.
Yeah.
But I think on social media, it's all about the side that you engage with the most. So I think you have to, if all you're seeing is negative stuff,
Right.
are you in fact engaging only with the negative stuff? So
I was about to say, I don't see things like, and so that may be, I mean, my feed is basically NBA basketball. And,
yeah, I mean, it's all what you choose to engage with, but
it is what
Mr.
you
Rogers
interact
sweaters
with.
and things
You-
like that,
you've got to
probably.
be
You don't like my
mindful of
sweater?
that.
I don't not like it. I'm just saying, I'm just going with the grandpa theme.
I like the pants. I like the cardi.
Yeah, all you need is your wife's approval, not mine.
Good vibes only.
Yeah.
Good vibes only. But
Well,
also-
Courtney, oh yeah,
Whoa,
go. Yeah,
I was
go.
thinking about something you said earlier about how, and this felt so nice, and I've heard this, and I've just been blessed to hear it about how I, portray myself on social media is what you get in real life. And I also will say that is very a different side of social media as well when you meet people that you know on social media. And it's like discernment is key. Like, and you get a different vibe from what I'm like, oh, you are not what I thought you were.
Yes.
And that's hard to deal with. And I think you can look at these people in such a, interesting light and then see them in real life, and it just not be the same. And it also makes me wonder, like, what are you putting on, or why are you putting on for social media? And just be authentic and be real.
And that's
people
what
see
you
that through the phone.
had the success that you've had is because, and I think that's why you've had the success in teaching that you've had, because you even said, I'm showing up, this is my year to determine whether I'm happy or not.
Correct.
Absolutely. This is my classroom to determine if I'm happy or not. Just because I'm seeing these things, because we're going to be exposed, right? But it's also all about what you feed yourself. You are who you hang out with. You are what you consume. And if you are not monitoring that yourself, you are going to slip down a safe.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that a lot of people are either trying to be someone they're not, which that's only going to cause misery, or they don't have good discernment and judgment as far as what they're consuming. And that is transitioning them into somebody they never wanted to become.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden you find yourself there, and that's a long road to go back to who you once were. So I think that that's why you have found so much success in this profession, is because you made that, which a lot of people cannot do. A lot of people let everybody else tell them what they think.
Absolutely.
But you made that decision early on to say, nope, this is my decision. This is my call.
Fact.
I'm going to decide how I feel about this, and that's what I'm going to run with. And I think that's powerful that you even said, and that's easier some years than others, because my first year was so easy, and this third year was so easy. The second year wasn't so easy. But also, I think that that's the realities that teachers need to hear. Is not every year is going to be a perfect year.
Not right.
But it's all about also what you look for and how you structure that year for yourself. So I think people have a lot to learn from you, and I hope the new teachers are following you and listening to you and being wise, and again, who they're surrounding themselves with, not only in their buildings but also in the world of social.
You're here.
Absolutely.
Well, if you are listening, make sure you follow Courtney. It is storming here, is what they're telling us. So I don't know why
I guess maybe you can hear the rain.
Maybe you can hear the rain.
Comment about it.
Maybe you can hear the rain.
Listen, maybe we should just stop
that's
talking
our
and let the rain
closing.
sounds just put you
Let
to
the
sleep.
rain fall down into night dreams. Okay, but anyway, if you want to follow Courtney, follow her on social media at Kinder and Kindness. Did I get that correct? Okay, I know. I
name
tag
is
you all
so
the time. It is so perfect. No, it is so on brand for you.
Thanks.
And make sure you tune in for all new episodes every Monday.
Let's
but
get it
until
right
then,
this time. Let's get it right this time.
okay, until then, we will catch you on the
Flip side.